What was your approach tonight going up against Jokic?
I mean, we just like that's what I am every game, and I didn't do a good job last game against them, so I was like more focused this game, and just gotta be play like this mental every game.
The Houston Rockets have an Alfred Sengun problem. Yes, I said it. While all of the sports media is glazing Sengun for a losing triple-double effort against the Denver Nuggets and Nikola Jokic, I'm here to say the real, at least the real in my opinion. Hear me out. Sengun is a lot like Dak Prescott in his early days as quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. You see, Dak used to come out and throw 2 interceptions in the first half, then make some tough plays in the second half to get the team to lose by a touchdown or two when it's all said and done. The highlights look great, but when you watch the actual game, it's an infuriating experience, especially against top talent. The Rockets just lost to Denver, as I said, in an instant classic of a game. And Sengun is a huge part of why it's an instant classic. The good and the bad. But I'm going to focus a little more on the bad, okay? You see, my issue is this is another close game against a top-ranked opponent that Houston should have won, okay? I believe in Sengun and the Rockets, but I'm tired of watching bad basketball from the Rockets. Okay, so let's rewind to opening night. Well, not right away, but at some point in this video, we will rewind to opening night of the 2025-2026 season, and it was a similar situation as the Rockets found a way to lose to the defending champion Thunder, okay? The Rockets' problem a season ago was not having a legit closer, as Jalen Green's inconsistent play was a huge reason they didn't go further in the playoffs. So this offseason, they added none other than Kevin fucking Durant, who's arguably the most elite pure scorer of all time. So the thing about being a player like KD is he's a lot like Randy Moss. He can still really only go as far as the QB play, or in this case, the point guard play, takes him, okay? Things worked in Golden State because while not being a traditional point guard, Steph Curry is one of the best point guards of all time. And more importantly, stretch big Draymond Green is an elite playmaker and decision maker. This combo fully opened up KD and made him into an elite role player with rings. Now, in Houston, which might just be the best roster he's been a part of since Golden State. Shout out to the Nets, though. He did have Kyrie, and sometimes he had James Harden. Without injuries, who knows what that team could have done. But fuck all the what ifs. We have a situation with the Golden State in Houston where, honestly, this roster could be a lot like the 2016 Warriors in theory. But the thing is, the Rockets' championship caliber point guard is out for the season. On top of that, their guy who has the potential to be better than Draymond, as he's constantly compared to Jokic, would rather play like 7-foot-tall Lance Stevenson. Yeah, that's the problem. Sengun. Basketball is a make or miss game. In general, you can make all the right decisions and still lose any given game. But when you make the wrong decisions and miss, that's when I have a problem. That's when I get fed up. Keep in mind, my favorite player of all time is Kobe. So it's not like I'm like super into always passing the ball to the open guy. Oh, just, drive, kick, swing to death. Not necessarily what I'm all about, even though I do enjoy a good drive, kick, swing and reset if it's not there on the swing. But in the case of in the case of the Houston Rockets, that's exactly what Sengun needs to do. You see, when you're surrounded by scoring talent like Jabari Smith Jr. and Kevin fucking Durant, pass them the damn ball as soon as you start generating gravity, and you'll win a lot more games. Now, yes, gravity. That means you do have to be a scoring menace still. I'm not saying that Sengun should just go out there and revert back into a pass first player. But once you get the gravity, you have to make the right decisions. It's a lot like when AD finally got over the hump and was able to get a ring, is because he learned how to pass out of double team, triple team scenarios. You have to first become enough of a threat to get an NBA double team and triple team. So I'm not all the way shitting on Sengun. I'm just saying that he needs to learn to be a better decision maker. He needs to really study game film like a point guard. Yes, you're a center, but you play point center. So play point center and figure this shit out before it's too late. I mean, hey, KD was brought in to be the closer after all, wasn't he? So why is Sengun still forcing bad shots as if he's playing with Jalen Green still? When it was last year, I wouldn't be making this video right now. I'd be saying get Sengun some help. So all right. So now that I got all of that off my chest, let's run down some of this tape. I have 2 sets of tape to show y'all today. The first being the most recent, which is the loss to the Denver Nuggets. Jokic is at a point with his playmaking that it's so lethal. Teams would rather he score 50 points than sit up there and get 15 or more assists. Sengun, on the other hand, teams dare him to pass because they know that he is a jackass and would much rather get up another bad shot. Let's get into it.
Yeah. I mean, that's a bad shot. Care what anybody says, that's a bad shot. But hey, he made it. That story won't be told that it was a bad shot. We live with that.
All right, so Exhibit A right here down to, you got Reed Shepherd initiating the drive, kick, and swing. The swing man is too far out and pretty tightly guarded, being Kevin Durant. So Sengun does a good job at carving out a little space at the free throw line. Brings a lot of gravity, okay? But this is where, this shot I'm not terribly mad at, but look at the gravity. Corner man is wide open. Reed Shepherd is a pretty damn good three-point shooter. Sengun, I would assume would know that through all the practice that he has with the guy. But then Jabari Smith, he's a proven, 4 kind of 3 hybrid guy that can really let it fly. And he is wide the fuck open as well. Moments like this bothers me because of the situation in the game more so. Like, okay, going for the tie is cool, but you have to ask yourself, are we getting stops? Now, in that little snippet of a post-game interview that I played, Sengun later goes on to say, guarding Jokic is a pain in the ass because if you even breathe on the guy, he's getting a foul call on top of him being extremely gifted. So it's kind of just a lose-lose. And this is where I have a theory, or like a philosophy in how I approach the game of basketball. And, I've never made it to the NBA. Just purely from a philosophical standpoint, though, where offense becomes the best defense. And so when you're going against a team like the Denver Nuggets, and when Jokic is on and Jamal Murray is on, in those, whoever the interchangeable wing players, when they're on, because it can be anybody. It can be Braun, it can be Tim Hardaway Jr., Cam Johnson, all of them. This new fucking guy whose name I'm blanking on. But they have a new light skin out there that was killing this game as well. And when any of those it could literally just be the main 2 and one of those guys, and they're tough. They can literally beat you 3-on-5. But that's when your offense has to be your defense as well. And in basketball, this is particularly true because good offense limits transition buckets. When you're going against a team like the Rockets that wants to, push the pace to a certain degree. Now, they have guys for the half court on the floor, and they have guys for, the transition game on the floor kind of at all times with the way their lineups are constructed. But for the most part, Houston's advantage here is getting out and running, getting Denver to have to cover in space, forcing up some bad shots. The thing is, Jokic and Murray are such good decision makers. Denver doesn't really settle for bad shots that often. You have to be playing some pretty fucking good defense. Minnesota Timberwolves in the playoffs level defense is the only time you're forcing Denver to put up bad shots. But regular season and shit, for most of the times in the playoffs, it's just not happening. Okay. This is one of those nights where it surely was not happening, despite Houston defensively being loaded. They're absolutely loaded with defensive talent, and Denver still was able to just pick whatever shot they wanted. Plus, they had the help of the refs. This conversation wouldn't be being had if the refs didn't screw over Houston with that bullshit call to send the game into overtime. Not gonna lie, but games are decided on more than just one play. So the narrative that the refs handed Denver the game, that's never quite the case when it's this close of a game. Houston did a lot of things to not help themselves as well, and that's mainly, in my opinion, the way Sengun played on offense. Okay? So anyways, situationally, I'm taking the wide open three. You kick it out, you have a very good chance at getting into rebounding position. Plus, Amen Thompson is already in a great rebounding position by being at that left block there, right? And the only reason I'm even talking about offensive rebounding in Houston is because, last season, the Houston Rockets, if I'm not mistaken, they were the best team in the NBA at offensive fucking rebounding, okay? That is completely gone. And Jalen Green had some interesting rebound stats here and there, but it's not like Jalen Green was the reason for the rebounding greatness that they were displaying. And it damn sure wasn't because of Fred VanVleet. So the core of those offensive rebounders is still on this roster and still actually on the floor. Okay? So take the threes. 3 is always greater than 2. You don't have to be a mathematician to know that. But nonetheless, Sengun is going to go ahead and make this shot. But this is one example of what I call a game-losing made basket, okay? Not quite as bad as an empty possession or a turnover. But again, situationally, when you know you can't stop the other team and they're able to get threes at will, this 2 here, when you have 2 wide open three-point shooters, which is hard to come by in the NBA, you got to take the 3. You got to at least give your guys a chance. But anyways, on to the next piece of film. All right, so here we're going to have an example of something Sengun needs to do more of, because he's very good at setting up his teammates, whether it be with the pass or with the screen. And he sets a beautiful pick here on Jamal Murray that frees up Reed Shepherd to shoot over the, not elite perimeter defender in Nikola Jokic. If the guy has a weakness, it's getting out there on the perimeter and trying to stop 3-point shots, like most guys that are, 6'11" and taller. So I don't have a problem with this play at all, but this is just to further drive home the point that when you can't get stops, but you can generate open 3-point opportunities, you should be taking those 3-point opportunities. Reed Shepherd, I believe, is the point guard of the future for the Houston Rockets. He's the guy that could take them to the promised land. They just need to fully invest in him, fully believe in him. I don't know if he's looking like a defensive liability here and there or whatever the case may be. But offensively, he has it. He has all the tools on offense. And the guy comes from a basketball family, Kentucky Wildcat basketball family. Both his mother and father played, Division I college basketball for the Wildcats. And it shows with his decision making ever since summer league, when he, I know it's summer league, but his decision making has shined ever since summer league, really ever since college. Okay. And this is just good situational ball. Get the fucking 3-point play. As a point guard, I know it had to have irked Reed Shepherd to be sitting in that corner wide open and watching Jabari Smith Jr. also get looked off so Sengun can be Sengun, which is a 7-foot tall jackass, a donkey. But anyways. All right, and so here with the game all tied up, we have Jokic in a scenario where Sengun would have thrown up a hook shot or a floater even, or, a fucking post up into a fadeaway. Sengun would have done some wild shit right here from what we've seen just in this footage alone, right? But Jokic is presented with a very similar opportunity, catching the ball at the elbow, and he uses a hard dribble like a damn point guard and gets KD. KD hopped all the way off of his assignment and said, yeah, I'm here to block this shot. And to be fair, KD did have a good amount of blocks, but wide open shooter, and it's cash money, baby. Yes, this is winning basketball right here. And look at Jokic. If this ball's missed, he has a chance at a rebound. He's being held by Sengun and still has a chance at a rebound and or a foul, being called on being held, preventing him from getting a rebound. Now, this right here is important because this is one of the last good plays as a center that Sengun makes. So you could have pulled a three here. That's important for how this game ends. But instead, he does the right thing and finds KD, sets him a screen, gives KD just enough space to get to his shot, get to his spot. I have KD versus Jokic out deep. That's favorable to KD in this pull-up. And, of course, it's cash money. Now, notice how every play down the stretch of the fourth that went Houston's way, Sengun was being a good center, setting screens, making the right pass. I'm cool with everything except for maybe not cool with that free throw line jumper he put up, but he made the shot. It's not the worst shot in the world. But now the jackassery is really about to begin. Really, the final offensive possession for Houston in regulation is where it starts. All right, so only down one. Yes, you only need two. The clock is ticking, but remember, situational basketball. Houston has not been able to stop Denver down the stretch at all. Denver is generating open threes whenever they need them, and they're cashing them. They're able to get whatever they want in the paint. They're getting to the line on top of that. And, Sengun, he posts up a smaller player. So nothing wrong with that. But look, so use your gravity correctly. With great gravity comes great responsibility. And Sengun is very irresponsible with his gravity. He is a young player. But honestly, he's been playing basketball all his fucking life. He's been a great player all his fucking life. I expect more from him. You have Kevin Durant, arguably the best scorer of all time, and he's hot today. He's not 13-point Kevin Durant. He's on a fucking heater, wide the fuck open. You don't get more open than this in any level of basketball. Your guy is trying to steal the ball. Kevin Durant's the guy trying to steal the ball. Then you have Reed Shepherd, who's also hot, wide the fuck open. You've done your job. You have two defenders that aren't supposed to be in the paint. And you put up this bullshit hook shot, which is why you used to get called soft. And yeah, it goes in. But that's going to come back to bite you. This is now two poor decisions, two game-losing two-pointers down the stretch that come back to bite the Houston Rockets. Now, yeah, if the ref doesn't decide to get overly involved and call, a phantom foul on Amen Thompson, then, again, we're probably not having this conversation. There's probably no overtime. Houston probably wins in regulation. However, you're supposed to be the best player on your fucking team. Put your team in the best position to win. It's a make or miss league. Trust your teammates to make some shots. They traded for Kevin Durant for a reason. They believe that Sengun has what it takes as not just a scorer, but as a playmaker to be able to, add this guy. And now it's supposed to be a championship caliber roster. The thing is, the guy the team is built around isn't playing at a championship level, in my opinion. We've seen the exact prototype of what you're supposed to be and how he got his championship. You're not following that blueprint. And yeah, it's okay to be your own guy, but you're being a donkey. Why not hit Kevin Durant wide open at the top of the key right there? Well, what is the logic in this attempt? Again, yes, it goes in, but it's a game losing two because three is always greater than two, my boy, especially when the three is wide open. And depending on who it is that's wide open, come on, fam. The only person on the floor that I'm okay with Sengun looking off is Amin Thompson. And that's for obvious reasons. The guy's not a three-point shooter at all. And if you want to look off Reed Shepherd, I get that because he's still kind of like the unproven rotational guy. But ride the hot hand. Well, what if Austin Reeves only had teammates that continued to look him off? Well, he would probably never develop into the Reeves we see today. Like, what are you doing? Play good basketball and good things happen. Play bad basketball and you lose, but you're happy that you got 30 points in a triple-double. But you fucking lost. Okay? You should have had 40 points, 15 assists, and however many rebounds the team needs you to fucking have. But anyways, let's get into the game-losing play right here, because this is jackassery at its finest. After passing up all these great three-point shooters, this is how Sengun decides to, finish the game. All right, so Kevin Durant has the hairy-ass fucking menace of a point guard, offensive menace of a point guard, mind you, not really a defensive menace, Jamal Murray on him. That's a mismatch, especially in this scenario. Kevin Durant's body language says it all. I don't give a fuck what he said in his post-game interview, talking about, I trust any one of us to take that shot, bullshit. Jabari Smith, he's the inbound passer. He passed it to the most open guy. Sengun set some bullshit-ass screen for KD. He didn't want KD to take the last shot. He wants to take the last shot. I commend people that want to take the last shot, but again, I'd rather you make the right decision. You're not Kobe, my nigga. If you're Kobe, then it's the right decision. We're going to live and die by the shot that you decide to take. But you are Alfred Sengun, and, this is a terrible shot attempt after licking off better three-point shooters than you the entire game. Jabari Smith, his body language somewhat says it in that scenario as well. But KD, he doesn't even bother trying to follow Sengun's shot, considering the shot clock. He could have still followed that shot and tried to get a rebound. But I think he's just so dumbfounded that he's not going to get a chance at this ball. Now, if you trade Jokic for Sengun right now, same exact rosters on both sides, Houston wins the game because Jokic would have hit KD earlier in the clip I just reviewed before this one. And I think, if they still find themselves in this scenario in overtime where they need a three, I think that Jokic would have got the ball to KD. Yeah, you get the inbound, get it to KD. He has about 4 seconds to get a little something off. I trust KD rising up over a defender for, a game tying or game winning scenario. Any day of the week, I would rather bet on him to make it than Sengun or anybody else on the Houston fucking Rockets. Jabari Smith Jr. is on his way to being that type of talent. But as of right now, we know what KD is, and KD should have been taking this shot. Don't believe the PC fucking cap that I'm about to play right now.
With him scoring 35, 39, 40 points, you've seen that before. But Jamal Murray got going 35, got a lot going from the free throw line. So it's a tough game.
Kevin, how effective were they to try to deny you the ball there on that potential game-tying three that Alfred wound up taking?
Yeah, it was 3 people on me. This guy jumped off the ball who was guarding the inbounder, jumped back a little bit to take away my three, So 37, they still a little nervous that I knocked down some shots, But trust anybody on this team taking that shot. I feel like we had a good look. It is what it is. We move on and get better.
All right, so here's against the defending champs on ring night / opening night. And watch as Sengun literally walks to follow a shot. Where this shot is coming from, it's probably not bouncing out to the free throw line. It actually goes right to Holmgren. And that's Holmgren winning a offensive board over a fucking point guard, okay? It's disgusting that, centers nowadays are just totally fine with watching their point guards have more effort on the offensive boards than them. Defensive boards. Offense as well, but especially on the defensive boards to watch the point guard go up against a center while your lazy ass walks towards the rim. mind you, this is an overtime. This Houston team is supposed to have championship aspirations. This is a championship caliber roster, and this is how you're coming at the defending champs. This is not a champion level effort right here. And mind you, this isn't 100% healthy defending champ. They're missing their second best player. At the worst, Jalen Williams is their third best player. They're missing that. So low key should be an easy night for y'all. Okay. But this is bad. I hate to see this. And Holmgren, he's going to go ahead and get the offensive board, gets it back up and misses. But again, like I mentioned earlier, this is the same core. This Houston core led the NBA in offensive rebounding last year and second chance points. Second chance points win fucking games. So to not have the effort from the guy who's supposed to be the best rebounder on the team, yeah, nah. I'm not fucking with Sengun, bro. I'm really not. Y'all can glaze, these other channels, ESPN and everybody can glaze Sengun all they want. I'm not jumping on board. I got to see some winning plays out of this guy. I got to see some good decision making down the stretch of a big game. All right, so nothing special here. Just another Sengun post up. This time against the Thunder's best defender, but still a mismatch nonetheless. However, instead of hitting one of two wide open 3-point shooters, you got Reed Shepherd, but then you have, I believe, Jabari Smith Jr. wide open, has his hands up saying, hey, pass me the fucking ball. We can go up by one right here, or your big ass can get in position to get a rebound, okay? Guards shouldn't be the ones out there trying to rebound as the center chucks up shots. That's just not how the positions are made to be played. But here's Sengun. He's going to miss, and then he grabs his own rebound and makes it. But nonetheless, this is another game losing made 2, okay? The game losing made 2. We don't need 2 right now. We need 3. So the defending champs, they're better than us. We got them to overtime. Let's fucking close it out. Let's make some winning plays. If Sengun's going to get a 2, I want it to be after him getting an offensive rebound, not a me-bound, not the Angel Reese. The Chicago Sky were one of the worst teams in the WNBA this year. Me-bounds is not winning basketball. All right, so this play right here with the lead, mind you, Houston found a way to lose this game, but Sengun gets into the post is up Caruso pretty well, then the help comes. He has literally the entire team's attention on him, so it doesn't matter who you pass it to other than Buddy who's in position to get the offensive board. Probably don't pass it to him because he's just as covered. But you got an open corner shooter. I think that's KD at the right wing. And then Reed Shepherd's hand is slightly in the frame. But regardless, you have great shot opportunities all over the floor. Or even just, a little kick swing action. It's all bad, man. It's all bad. He ends up getting fucking blocked after flopping around like a prime Karl Anthony Towns. He should be embarrassed by that play right there, considering how fucking big you are. Get your big ass under that rim and kick the ball out to the open shooter. The baby Jokic shit has to stop until this guy actually starts playing like baby fucking Jokic. And you see, one of the things that really pisses me off about Sengun is to even make him in 2K, you have to have a pretty damn good pass rating. So let's use that passing ability a little more. Just a little bit. I'm not saying come out here and try to break the assist record or anything like that. But just a little bit better decision making can go a long, long way. Basketball, yeah, it's a make or miss game. It's definitely a make or miss league with the NBA. But it's also a decision making game. It's really all decision making. Okay, knowing when to take a tough shot versus knowing when to pass to your teammate that hasn't missed in the last 5 minutes or so is a big fucking deal in the game of basketball, especially when you're being essentially anointed a point center. Okay, But anyways, I'm gonna get on up out of here to the next piece of content. I will return when another jackass, does something worthy enough of a little breakdown video such as this one. If you're liking the content, let me know in the comments. If you hate the content, you can also let me know that in the comments. I know with sports, some people are just diehard fans, and your favorite player on your favorite team can do no wrong. But I'm here to say I don't give a fuck about none of that. I'm a Laker fan by nature, but I really don't have any bias with these types of things. I mean, heck, I might break down how LeBron needs to hang it up if he pisses me off enough. I'm not one to hold back my opinions when people are playing bad basketball. Bad basketball pisses me off more than a lot of things on this earth. And, Sengun, he's just displayed really bad basketball during the winning moments of very important games. These are games that ultimately decide playoff seeding. And when you have to go through OKC or some other top Western Conference team, you look back at plays like this and say, damn, the season really came down to 3 or 4 plays that if we would have performed better on, we could have had home court advantage in the playoffs and maybe got a little further, got a more favorable path to a conference finals, and then see where we go from there. Because that's the thing. I believe that this Houston Rockets team has all the potential to break through and at least get to the NBA Finals. A lot like Dallas did with Luka before he became, too fat and got traded and all that shit. They're a lot like that team, but honestly, they're better than that team on paper. They're better than the Timberwolves to me on paper. From an all around standpoint, they're better than the Timberwolves that got to the conference finals, right? But man, Sengun has got to play better in these moments, or they need to get the ball out of his hands. They really do miss having a point guard. Fred VanVleet's a championship caliber point guard for sure. I don't know if he's the answer for them for real, but at least in the meantime, they're definitely missing him. And honestly, it might be a little bit of a hot take, but if I'm Houston, I'm exploring trade options for Sengun this season. Or, let's let him, maybe develop this season, see if he can get Kevin fucking Durant more involved in the offense. And if you fail to get out of the first round of the playoffs, or if you're a playing team this year or anything like that, and with Sengun having the ball in his hands the majority of the fucking game, I'm trading Sengun while his value is at its peak. Okay? If I'm Houston, because you have everything you need, but Sengun, he just comes out, he finds ways to lose games that Houston should be winning. I genuinely feel like Houston should have beat Denver, and they should have beat OKC by 8, 10, 12 points. Like, it should have been pretty dominant. I think Houston's better than both of those teams on paper. But the way both of those teams that have championship DNA execute and make the right play at the right time, their decision making is that of a champion. And, it just shows that Houston, they just don't have it yet. But anyways, peace.